Happy Africa Month, Africa. It is a significant month, this one, with it being Africa Day this month, as well as the 29th of May, which is the general elections here in South Africa. Now, as Stories Untold, we take in the next half an hour to focus specifically on people with disabilities. Are they ready to vote? Are they accommodated? And what are they looking forward to on the 29th of May? Now, our producer, Untold, sat down with few of them just to hear in terms of their accommodation. Is the IEC accommodating? What are their previous experiences, and will they be getting the same treatment? Of course, there are two sides to the story, and that's what we're going to be hearing today, the good and the bad. I am Pule Molebati. Welcome to the home of good news. It is Stories Untold. I am so delighted to be delivering the good news on the show today. Let's get straight into it.
There are over 1.3 million adults registered for the special votes, which includes persons with disability. We visited the National Council of and for Persons with Disability and spoke to a few of their members.
I've been voting every time. It hasn't, in the beginning when I had 20/20 vision, it didn't really occur to me the accessibility of voting stations for persons with disabilities. Only when I lost my vision 83 did it start sinking in, but what the challenges are at voting stations for people with disabilities. I've never used the special vote. Every time I went to a voting station, it was always that sort of, who's going to help me? The voting station is very dark. It's not accessible. What is the privacy if somebody has to help me with my voting? Where's the privacy? It's my vote. It's my right to vote in secrecy. But the voting stations was not accessible. I know maybe that it's changed in the meantime. So this year will be the first time that I'll do the special vote.
Fanny Swanepoel says that he recently picked up some improvements in the IEC readiness for elections.
I actually looked at the IEC website and they brought out a universal ballot template, which you can now insert your ballot paper into it. It shows you the candidate you want to vote for. It's in Braille as well as a large font. If I had that 4 years ago, it would have been so much easier for me. I would have had that privacy when I went to the voting booth to insert it and do my thing instead of asking somebody else to please come and help me.
The IEC gave us a different story with regards to the issue of the universal ballot paper.
For many years, and not just for this election, we've been working with organizations that represent those who are blind and partially sighted. These include organizations such as Blind SA and SANCAB, who many years ago we started working together and put together what we call the universal ballot template. This is a voting aid that aids blind and partially sighted voters to be able to have a secret vote. We're in production for the ballot paper as well as the universal ballot template. So it will be available at all voting stations as we have provided it over the years.
William Kuna has voted in all the elections we've had in the past 30 years. We asked him what is his take on the 30 years of freedom, especially around the issue of voting.
When you look at the voting sites, I won't say there's an improvement because some of the sites, when they choose, you find that they're not accessible. They want to help you, but even yourself, you want to help yourself. So if it's not accessible since 1994, that means people with disability are not taken care. They only think about us when there is a voting or there's something where they are going to benefit. It's where they will put you in front. But in many things, we're still struggling. To me, I don't think things have changed. Nothing changed. People with disability, they didn't get any freedom. They're still fighting for freedom. They're still put behind, you see. So I don't think even 29 May, it will change anything. because they think about you only on the day. After the day, they forget about you. They'll talk about women and other and children, but disability, they're not talking about it. That's why they always put the disability on health. They think we are sick while we are not sick. That is their problem.
With his view on the matter, we further asked him what are some of the challenges he has experienced with previous elections.
The ballot box is on top. So I took the paper and write on my thumbs. So it doesn't give me the rights which I support to have. That is why I say they don't care about us. Nothing is changed in the government, nothing is changed in the companies, nothing is changed even the IEC itself.
Lubaba Lombegi has a different view of the voting experience.
My first experience in the Eastern Cape, Barawet rural areas, was the challenge of traveling distance to the voting stations. Well, you might be aware that the roads from home are uneven, and in a village there's no tar road, so it was quite a struggle for me. Like now we have like the special votes arrangements, so I would put that as an improvement for persons with disabilities. So also voting being in Gauteng, Ekurhuleni, we have a better experience of mobility without dismissing the privilege of the special vote opportunity. But also, I think as other individuals, we would want to go there and have the feel of the environment. It's a big day for South Africans, and you want to be in an inclusive environment where everybody, you'd want to see the reactions of people after voted. I think it's a very iconic, momentous day for everyone, a caring citizen.
He went on to give us his take on the special votes.
The special votes should not replace the accessibility requirements and the need of full accessibility for everyone in the physical voting station. We need not relax that because some individuals want to be there, like myself and others.
Welcome back to Stories Untold. Today we are spending the next few minutes with our featured guest with a specific focus on election 2024 readiness. But our focus today is on people with disabilities. Now, of course, with every journey, there is also the good and the bad. With every experience, there's a first-time experience, second-time experience, and there's people that do it repetitively. It is important that, of course, we vote as South Africans, but there are those that will fall through the cracks, and not because they don't want to vote, but because they are not accommodated. Now, for example, you will have an issue with having access to voting premises. Do they have ramps for people with wheelchairs? What about the people that are visually impaired? We're getting straight into that right now.
We later went to Meadowlands in Soweto, where we further engaged with more persons with disability. 27-year-old Ntabiseng is totally blind and will be voting for the very first time this year.
Because of it's really important to vote all the months. My at first next I vote to you. Next it's important to vote. What's a calamar? No, you won't go to vote. You register.
Ntabiseng is hopeful that the upcoming elections will bring the change she so desperately needs.
Vouta ga ka go tla thusa ka gore a ke tse maybe president a rona tla change dilo. Maybe tla change dilo. It counts maybe lone vouta ka gore especially rona ba disabled. O tla bona gore there's disability people ba le gore le bone tshwantse a ba nage.
Ntabiseng is a mother to a toddler, and this is how she explained to us how she is surviving as a mother.
Oh, Razama. Like, ke a ithuta ntho tse ngata. Ke a ithuta ntho tse ngata go iketsetsa le nna. Understand? Ke a ithuta ntho tse ngata go iketsetsa go metsetsa. Ke itse ga go ya tleliniking ke kapa ke mayang a sister. Ke no kapa everywhere. Ke no kapa everywhere. On to sang ka ngwana. Ale ka mi tlhatswetsa, ka mi jisetsa ene. Ka go zama ka go try. Understand? Ka zama ka go try ene. Ke ba strong like for situation yaka. Go dependela bo bathong. Ke ntse ke sa batle. Aba. Di shopong kae ke gone go ikela. Ke no ya.
Ke ntho e ka o thusang gore o kgone go etsa dilo tse.
Maybe azanka sekolong sa blindness. Since ke thoba go ba blind. Maybe go lo etsa braille. Bang rute be ko sekolong sa teng. Go tla ba much better.
Unlike Fanny, Ntabiseng's knowledge on the special votes is limited, and she is clueless about the universal ballot paper, and here's what she hopes for.
Yeah, I can say special votes, because special vote I think it's for batho ba disability. Ke re ke ba re beletseng batho ba ANC na go ba fitla gore a e tlo fitla ba tla ba le lata mo ba lisa ko teng or ba le votisa gone mo jarateng. Lona ba special ba disabled. Ba le tlisa ba tla mo vote mo jarateng ba le votisa mo jarateng. Go avoid gore re ye ka di 29 le batho ba ile gore ba sharp. I don't know. Or go allowed go ke botse motho tsa mang le nna a bone le gore ke votela eng. Ma na ka bona ne ba ke gone bona ballot paper go e reng. Ke expect gore bang accommodate bang thuso gore ke vote. Bang palle pele ballot paper.
Lobisa Lingosana has been voting since the first elections in South Africa. She has been on the special votes list for a couple of times, and this is how she got to know about the special votes.
It was easy, even those 3 years feeling vote because never latella mo dintlong. They need us for vote like nako e leng gore ba re needa ka yona. They make a mean ya gore vele re tla ba latella. It means tsa gore ba tla re latella ba tlo re thusa re vote retseng. But after more they are done, never sa bona motho even one person o leng gore tla ya office tla kra le ANC je ka ne ba o latella batho ba teng gore tlo vote. Never sa bathola. Ba na le di empty promises every time, so I'm not happy. Even now, since ke registerile so ba tlo tla ape bang votise mo jarateng still. It's fine, le di empty promises ba nkile ape di form, di photocopy, but I know gore ba etsa fela for now. Then now na ntho ntabisa nje ka o vote. Ayo ntho ke leng happy ka yona. More especially ka mosebetsi le taba tsa di RDP ba re tshepisa. I mean, wheelchair e batla space. If o sna space sa o tsama ka o tlo dula o le ko beteng ka re wa kula o sa kule, so ayo ntho ntabisa ka o vote.
The IEC further elaborated on their state of readiness come May 29.
On the issue of accessibility for wheelchairs, most of our voting stations are at public facilities, including schools that would have ramps for people who require ramps for wheelchairs and movement. However, we are able to assist at voting stations. Our officials are there for that purpose, so that we ensure that everybody who comes to our voting station has an accommodating experience and a great experience that is filled with integrity, because voting day should be a day that is a happy and a great day for all voters.
Lobisa says after the experience she had in the past, she'll never go to the voting station.
My challenge is access, like money voting, it was difficult because on a little steps, and then I can't go in. Vote samba to koyona. So to battle leona from kontle ba bang ba kena ko gare wa bona. A ba re tsetsile access nje gore battle ko voting station ba tlo votela mo. Ba tlo ba le access a o tsamaya ka di wheelchair no. A una le ramp for batho ba disabled. You just stand there como pula yana. It was worse for na. First time I ke vota pula inena. And then batho ba votang ne ba kena ra class na ne ke le kontle pula yana. And I get one more happy so ke distance. Ne ke vota ko moruta thuto ene ke dula mo mama Slanuka. Ke votile ka fetsa go tla ga ke netse ke pula.
Welcome back to Stories Untold. Today's edition is focused on the readiness of people with disabilities when it comes to taking to the polls on the 29th of May as we gear up for the general elections in South Africa. Now, there's an issue of reasonable accommodation. And as we sit down with each and every featured guest today on the show, it's all about understanding each and every person's needs. Now, there is this perception that with specific needs, there is a specific way to cater to everyone. For an example, if you are dealing with people who are visually impaired, there is just one way of approaching. But today we are going to dispel that myth. It's an each and every person's case, and it differs on individuals' needs. So that's where the question, or rather the concept of reasonable accommodation comes to play. So when we head to the election, there are specific needs based on individuals that are needing to be met. And we're getting straight into it right now.
According to the IEC, work has been done in making sure that these elections are inclusive.
Within our Civic and Democracy Education Department at the IEC, we have a special account that is dedicated simply for persons with disabilities, so that we make sure we cater to all voters equally. In the past financial year, we were able to complete around the country just under 2,000 civic education events exclusively for persons living with disabilities. And so we do work very closely with the sector. We do training, we do stakeholder engagements, and also do briefings so that they're up to date with what is happening in each and every election.
We were later invited by Fani at his home, where he shared with us the latest developments on the special voters' preparations.
This year I actually decided to register for a home visit from IEC. I got a confirmation that I've been successful, and then I got an email to say these are the dates they will come and visit me at home. But, there's always a but, there's a bit of a challenge with the home visit, because the dates that they gave me was the 27th or the 28th, between 9 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon, which means I'm going to be at work. I won't be at home. So I actually did phone IEC on Wednesday. I explained the situation. I said, you know, what time is it possible for after 5 o'clock? And I said to me, no. And one of the solutions was, can I put in 2 days leave? And I said, no, I can't just put in 2 days leave, and you might only come the second day at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I don't know how it's going to work out. I said to the lady, you know, people with disabilities work. They can't just take off from work. So I just feel that maybe the IEC could have made a plan to visit people after 5 o'clock when they're back from work. I mean, it's not a case that people with disabilities don't work and sit at home and waiting. They work. So it's going to affect a lot of persons with disabilities.
Is the community of persons with disability ready to vote this year?
People with disabilities do want to go and vote, to say, but listen, we're part of the community, we're part of society. We've also got our rights that we want to have, the same as able bodies. So we want to vote for the party that we think is going to look after our needs and after our challenges to try and resolve it.
We should take up on the opportunities and the privileges that and efforts that are made, like the special votes, and also amongst ourselves, try and spread the word. Every vote that you have missed, if you have missed to put your X on the ballot paper, you have by some way given your vote to someone else, of which it might not be someone that you would have desired to lead on your future aspirations for the country. So it's very important for us as disabled people to exercise that right.
What are the hopes for persons with disability for these upcoming votes?
Well, it's okay now for whoever wins. Ke rata gore ke mmelle gore ke kopa a re etse change. A re bone gore rona ba disabled. Gore re need like mesebetsi, re need dikolo, re need ga tla go ya dikolong. A etse something ka ntse eo. A re batlele mesebetsi. Re kgone go bona gore way forward ke eng. Re sa itlogela, re sa dula fela. Re tsebe go what is what. Re kopa re thuse vele gore a re thole ntho e good for rona ba disabled.
Ntho e nka ratang message o ke batlang mo fa yone motho o tlo winner for these elections. Kopa ba re consider le rona as batho ba disabled, because they do promise things before the voting. After the voting, they don't care. Like batho ba disabled, we don't have someone o ileng gore wa re emella.
Whoever wins, make sure that people, that your decision, whatever you decide, your policies, that include people with disabilities. That it's not us and them. We must be one nation. People with disabilities pay taxes. People with disabilities work. They've got the same right as able-bodied. So whoever wins, include people with disabilities. It's not a case of you put a ramp at the building, now you think, okay, you've done your part for the disability community. There's lots more than just putting a ramp at the building. There's accessible transport. Fight for accessible transport, universal accessible transport for everybody. I've been listening to the various political parties when they do sort of promote their party and so on. And only one, unfortunately I don't know her name, only one independent candidate spoke about inclusion of people with disabilities. None of the other political parties even mentioned people with disabilities. Only one independent candidate mentioned inclusion of people with disabilities. And that was very hard sore for me.
And just like that, we've come to the end of our show today. But just before we wrap up the show, I'd like to mention that we do see and we would like to take the opportunity to acknowledge your messages that we've been receiving on our DMs on social media. Keep them coming. We will definitely make sure that we come and share a spotlight on the good that you're doing as an individual or that you're doing collectively as a community. From myself, Pule Mulibadzi, and the team that makes it all a possibility, would like to end things here. We are back again next week, same time, same place. Goodbye.